Juliet 73 Juliet Alpha, standing by for any more information from Dominica.
Water coming into windows and doors. It's nice and dry now. I lost my roof too, but I had a shelter. From what I've seen so far, it's pretty bad.
Give me a scale on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being really bad. What number is that? Go ahead.
I'll go for 9. Over.
I am one happy camper to be back here. We watched Irma coming up and we thought we were going to get hit, and then we watched it go back over to the east and we heaved a sigh of relief, and then it started coming back again, and I had booked this trip to Dominica back in August. Okay. Took a direct hit, 160 mile an hour winds, 225 miles per hour gusts, Category 5 hurricane. I don't want to experience another one. I was so focused on Irma passing, and once it did, then going down there, and I took my eye off the ball. I knew there was another disturbance out there, but by the time I kind of surfaced and got to see it, it was too late. They were shutting down the port, they were shutting down the airport. I couldn't get off the island, so I was stuck. Okay. This all started earlier in the year when our E-Club, we decided to do a scholarship for a high school student in Dominica. And in Atlanta, we presented a check to 2 members of the Rotary Club of Portsmouth in Dominica. That tells all about that, okay? This is the student that was selected by the Rotary Club of Portsmouth on our behalf. We funded a scholarship. This is the presentation. Next one is currently her school. And the next couple show the school. I did not meet the young lady. We had set up to a couple of us put together some dollars, and we decided we'd buy her a laptop and a backpack and some more supplies. And I said, well, I have a lot of friends in Dominica. I'll go visit and I'll do the presentation down there. That was the reason that took me down. So we couldn't meet the young lady. I don't know whether she's dead, alive, or injured, or whether she has a home to go to anymore. We have no communication with that part of the island still down there. So that was it. This is the hotel that I stayed in, owned by Hans and Lise, whom we presented the check to, and a little boutique place, very nice, up on the cliffs overlooking the Caribbean. That's as it was. This is as it is today. The roof is gone. The whole bar area is cleaned out. Fortunately for us, the floor here was concrete. I was in this room, he was in that room, and there was a French couple in this room. My door blew in, and I wasn't asleep or anything. I was wide awake listening to the wind. I spent an hour and a quarter pushing on the door to keep it shut. And that the wind howling, and all, can you go back to the other one? The roof was coming off over our heads. We could hear it tearing off. All this stuff, all over the place, all the solar heating, the whole bit. Now, he did put a pool in down here. He was still working on it. And for the financing, the bank required insurance. He didn't have insurance. But he had to take it out to get the financing in May. So he was covered for the structure. No loss of profits, no tablecloths, all that stuff was on his own, but the structure. Okay.
it at night?
Pardon?
Was it night? Were you in the dark?
Yes, it was at night, yeah. Yeah. Now, I had internet up to about 11 o'clock, and I was talking to Maeve, and I was surprised to see on Facebook, her dad was down there and pray for him. I could almost hear the rosary beads rattling up here from down there. Okay. Here, when I got up there on Monday afternoon, I said, Hans, you need to cover the TV sets, man. You know, you need to do a bit of protection. They were kind of a bit blasé about it. So here I am helping him, and I happened to have on the Gulf Breeze t-shirt that was a nice lightweight and handy for on vacation. And we covered the TV sets that were in the bar area. Next one. This is the same area. After, and this is the wall we were working on, the ladder. Gone. Okay. This was my view when I got up there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This is my view the following morning. Okay. This was a view out the back door, all the foliage. This was the view after. Everything is stripped. Okay. This was my bedroom before. Now, being a bar and restaurant, they had a lot of liquor, a lot of beer. And the following morning, we decided we need to get all this stuff that's still not broken and store it. And guess where they put all the booze? This is the view from my bed, my pillow in the morning.
Likely story. Yeah.
They knew I wouldn't drink, so we'll be safe there. Okay. This is Lise cooking up food. That fridge was upended and everything was all over the place there. She's cooking up food to try to make it last a little bit longer, otherwise she'd have to throw it out. Okay. These are scenes 2 days later. We had no water, we had no electricity, we have no internet, we have no nothing. And these are the locals washing and bathing in the river. Like, it's just unreal. This is downtown Portsmouth. It's like a World War II scene on the street. Devastation all around. This young lady is a Rotarian in the Rotary Club of Portsmouth. She's a teacher and she was on our selection committee, but she had no clue where our student was. This is a view, this was a restaurant, and these were little ritzy holiday cottages. They were all washed all the way through. The roofs are still on, but that's about all they've got. How I got out and how I was able to get a signal word to Maeve. Ross Medical University, part of the DeVry, have a campus down there, and they have 1,000 students, about 75% American. And the dean of the college is a Rotarian. And I worked with him when we did that emergency room project 3 or 4 years ago. They had a satellite phone, which was hot from usage. And we could only use it for text. And that's how I got a message to Maeve 3 days after that I was okay. There was no communication. Also, they were doing their own evacuation of the students. And through him, I got my name on their list, and my number was 1456. I could be still there today because they haven't got everybody off yet. Now, folks here alerted the State Department, and Thursday morning, Friday morning, we were out at 6 o'clock clearing debris and trying to sort out before it got too hot. And this guy came up the hill and he was looking for John Foley, which is my official passport name. And it was pointed out, he said, the State Department know you're here. There's a helicopter going in half an hour, you gotta leave now. So I had to grab my stuff and take it down. And boy, was I happy to see the US Army down on the campus. And there were a mixture of relief guys there. There was US Army, there was Navy, there was Air Force, and there were Marines there. And a number of the Air Force guys had been through Pensacola, they knew it. One of the Marines spent a year on guard duty at the embassy in Dublin. And such a professional bunch. Just, yeah. So no breakfast, and then they fed us MRE, and it was quite tasty. Quite tasty. I've often heard guys talking about them, but man, I was quite happy with my MRE. Okay. So they came and they brought us down to these helicopters, 10 of us in each, sitting on the floor. Students were going out, they were pressing all sorts of boats into service, and students, about 80 of the students went out on that. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I said, if I was being evacuated from here on a hurricane on the Pirates of the Caribbean ship, it was just a bit too much. It was just amazing. So I'm never much good at a selfie. I don't like doing that kind of thing, but I decided I had to with the hat in my head. Okay. This guy was injured and he was being taken out with a medic with him. Yeah. And we were flying over the hills. Okay. Waiting at the airport. They took us to the local airport, which was shut down obviously, but the runway was serviceable and the relief organizations were using it. And they were getting ready. And I'm telling you, the Army, these guys, the Marines were on duty here, and it was all by the numbers, by the numbers. There was no messing about in how they operated. This is this guy coming in. Well, when he came in, he did a passover first, and he was like riding a motorbike the way he was riding that plane. I said, Jesus, is he going to take us up in that? But anyway, he performed more normal when he was flying with us. So here we are getting on this C-130, I think. Yeah. Loading up. Yep. All tight inside. Yeah. And I'm waiting for the beverage cart, and it never came. Never came. Okay. We're going to use this video to promote fundraising. It's going to be a tough slog because RE Club gave $2,000 to Texas for Harvey relief, a shelter box, and $1,000 to the district. All districts are now looking at Florida and still Texas, and now there's Puerto Rico in there. Dominica is a small island, 70,000, primarily tourism, very little agriculture because of the topography, bananas mostly, and they're in the banana tree standing on the island currently. And any bananas that were there after a week are well rotten. I was sitting at home yesterday afternoon and the phone rang. And somebody said, I said, yeah. A lady from a Rotary Club up in Indiana. And they had done a fundraiser and they raised $500 and they wanted it to go to the islands in the Caribbean for relief, and could I help them? I said, God, you're like an angel out of heaven, bearing gifts. And because how she found our club was because we have the Caribbean in our name when she went to the Rotary directory. So she's sending me down $500. Our E-Club has, which is a small club, 26, 27 members. We have voted to give Dominica another $2,000. Here you can write a check if it's and get the tax relief by writing your check to the Cordova Rotary Foundation. We have an online button on our club, but we're not a 501c or whatever. There were a couple of other things. I was out walking with my friend the day after the hurricane, and we came across this lady with 2 plastic bags, and she looked shook. And Hans recognized her and said, oh, you know, hello, how are you doing? She said she had spent the night under her bed with the rubble of her house down on it and all around her. And she now was looking to see if she'd get some food somewhere, and she didn't know where she was going to sleep that night. Like, kind of rough. Another thing, with the power being out, the main hospital lost power. And they have a lot of people for dialysis. The medical student that was evacuated with me was telling me that he volunteered a day every week at the hospital to do dialysis work. And he said if people can't get dialysis, they're going to die. Now the French brought in solar operated dialysis machines, but they keep tripping out. But that's what they're working with. They eventually got electricity restored to the hospital yesterday. But there's a lot of people in the outlying districts that couldn't come for dialysis because the roads were out, there was landslides, there was mudslides, there was poles down, there was trees down. So a lot more suffering going on down there. It's just devastating. That's my story. Thanks for listening. And